Welcome to Mornings on Main Street. I'm your host, Stephanie Miller. Glad you're joining us today. There's a number of things going on this weekend, but there's an event in Houston County we want to make sure that you've heard about. It is the Rural Recovery Rumble, hosted by the E2 Project. The E2 Project is based out of Houston County and is there to help those recovering from addiction, and for those who would like information, whether it be that person suffering from the addiction or a loved one. This event happening on Saturday is not only open to those in Houston County, but for anyone outside of the Houston County area. Well, today we're going to hear from the founder of the E2 Project to learn, again, what resources will be available there at the Rural Recovery Rumble, but also why her heart is with for all of those trying to recover from addiction. Then later on at the end of the show, we're going to share with you the fun fall festival happening in Eagleville. We'll give you the hours that the fall festival is happening and what you can expect when you go. But first, let's get a check at the forecast to see what's in store for us in the coming days.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather on Main Street.
Good Thursday morning, Taylor Plott here in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center with a check on your forecast starting off your Thursday morning with some clouds, maybe a spotty shower or two. Once we get into the afternoon hours, just some isolated, widely scattered showers and storms can be anticipated. Nothing overly strong, nothing really severe expected, but some brief heavy downpours can be anticipated. Thursday evening, still holding on to a small chance of an isolated shower or storm. And then finally, some cooler and drier air will be filtering in once we get into your Friday and Saturday. Here's your 7-day forecast. We do get back up into the middle 80s after a brief cool down, but still not looking too bad out there. I'll take some mid 80s. At least it's not the lower 90s once we get into the beginning of next week. Just some very low end rain chances can be anticipated Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
If you want the latest in weather conditions, be sure to tune in to our Busy Bee Plumbing Weather Report each weekday on Mornings on Main Street. Brought to you, of course, by Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. We will keep you updated on the latest conditions outside, like severe weather, heat, snow, rain, and even hail. Welcome back to Mornings on Main Street. Now sitting down with the founder of the E2 Project here in Houston County and the upcoming Rural Recovery Rumble and how this Rumble is connecting people in underserved communities to recovery resources out there. First off, Amanda, thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
It's so wonderful what you're doing, because again, sometimes when people find themselves where they want to start recovering, they want to make that effort, it's hard to know where to go. Is that why you started the E2 Project?
That's exactly why I started the E2 Project, because based out of Houston County, we don't really have those resources at all. And when I started kind of researching into those resources, we have sistering bordering counties that don't have those resources either. We're a very small rural area, and the surrounding communities are the same.
So again, anyone is welcome to come out to this here in Houston County. So if you're in the surrounding counties here, again, being in rural areas, you are welcome to come out. What will they find at this Recovery Rumble?
In the past and what we have so far, we look for, it's not just like recovery, treatment, substance abuse, because the E2 is mental health and substance abuse. So we'll have counselors. We will have the treatment as far as we do have treatment centers, we have sober livings coming out, we have mental health counselors, we have different types of treatment centers. There's so many different pathways, and that's the biggest thing we respect, is that everyone's pathway looks different. So we have faith-based, we have, a MAT program, which is the medical assisted treatment, we have complete abstinence, we have groups like NA, and we have a couple of different CR groups coming out, and these are groups that you can attend not only during treatment in some places, but when you get out of treatment, that continuing recovery, you'll be able to meet these people, see what they offer, and when you get through the treatment process, those are definitely resources that will help keep you on that recovery path.
That is great. And this is the third year that this recovery resource event has been happening. Again, rebranded the Rural Recovery Rumble for other areas. Where did you get the idea? Where did you go and say, okay, that's successful, let's do that here?
So when I had first started the E2 Project, a friend of mine, Carrie Thompson, she works with the Dixon Coalition. the Dixon Drug Free Coalition, and she's from my hometown. And really, we met at a hair shop. And she was talking to me about it, and she's like, you need to come out and, do this, and, go ahead, you and E2 can set up. Like, just full of, the whole fairgrounds in Dixon was full of resources, of things that people could use, and I just saw it, and I'm like, I need to bring this to Erin. I just did it.
And you're no stranger, though, to recovery and knowing what it's like to look for those resources, right? Do you mind sharing a little bit of your story?
I had a little bit of a drinking past, but I was what I call one of the lucky ones that I was able to break that with. I started going to church and really getting into the Word and building my foundation and my relationship with Jesus. About the time I had started doing that for myself, I had met my husband, who was, at the time, he was getting out of Hope Center, so he had drug addiction, alcoholism, and stuff like that in his past, when we got together, which he's actually from Houston County as well, so we knew each other. Everybody knows everybody here. But when he had gotten out, it wasn't long after we had gotten married that he had relapsed, and unfortunately that relapse resulted in his suicide. And that's where I saw a lot of the gaps, because we were able to get him into mental health treatment, and his first initial appointment, which it took forever to get that appointment. He finally gets that appointment, and they tell him there is something going on. We do know that you need medication, all that fun stuff, but then gave him an appointment for 6 weeks later.
Gotcha.
That initial appointment was around mid-January, and he didn't make it that 6 weeks because he passed away the end of that January.
Gotcha.
So, and he had went to one type of treatment center. I think it was multiple times he had went to the same treatment center, and I'm not down in or bashing any treatment.
Right.
They just don't all work for one person, you know what I mean? So when it comes, that's one of the reasons why when it comes to treatment, if you've tried, say, faith-based, I'm going to encourage you to go somewhere else. And I'm a huge on encouraging mental health treatment, regardless of what kind of treatment you get, because that is the root. Right. The trauma, the mental health, the things that beat us up when we were younger and we don't know how to fix. We've got to fix those or nothing's going to work.
If we want to follow this afterwards and what's going on with the E2 project, and then even next year's Rumble, where do we go to do that?
The E2 project has a Facebook page.
Okay.
The one that you want to look to for these areas is just the E2 project, because we have an E2 project Savannah as well. We're kind of branching out in other areas. And then the Royal Recovery Rumble has its own page, and it stays there consistently throughout the year, because we use the same page every year to keep everyone updated. And we've got all of our sponsors and who's going to be there on there already.
Fantastic. Again, the Rural Recovery Rumble happening September 27th at the Houston County Fairgrounds. Amanda Elliot, founder of the E2 Project, thank you for what you're doing and being that connector for so many others. That's a blessing, I know, for many. You're very welcome. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Deep in a forest at Nashville Zoo, new creatures here for you to view. Phantoms graced in black and white swing high in trees of dappled light. In rocky crags, tall and steep, small antelopes with nimble feet. A wise old man with beard of white, a sentry perched on stony height. Amidst it all, a hunter lies, with coat of gold and steely eyes. A new adventure just for you. Leopard Forest at Nashville Zoo. Open now.
Welcome back. Get a look at this colorful flyer. This is highlighting the Fall Festival happening in Eagleville this Saturday. Things will get going around 9 o'clock in the morning, and it will end at 3. But while you're there, not only will you enjoy live music, but vendors and, of course, a number of delicious treats. They will also have a QR code available when you head out to the Eagleville Fall Fest that gives you a map of where everything can be located. And if you go, have a great time. Thanks so much for joining us here at Mornings on Main Street this morning. Enjoy the rest of the morning. We'll see you back here later on.